welcome back to our channel, the go-to destination for the most in-depth analysis of Genoa's endless drama. Today is a great day to delve deeper into the complex power struggles between our beloved families. The storyline will move into a more dramatic phase as Phyllis plots her revenge. Will she be able to win Nick's heart once again to help her fight against Victor? The walls are rapidly closing in on Phyllis Summers, a woman who has spent her entire life navigating the treacherous waters of corporate espionage and personal vendettas. Facing the terrifying prospect of losing everything she has painstakingly built, Phyllis finds herself backed into a corner by Victor Newman's ruthless deployment of artificial intelligence. The fabricated evidence threatens to dismantle her empire and send her to federal prison, but anyone who knows Phyllis understands that she is fundamentally incapable of surrendering without a fierce, calculated fight. She is desperately seeking a lifeline, searching for any possible ally or leverage to ensure that her legacy does not evaporate into thin air. Her survival instincts, honed over decades of warfare with the Newman family, are currently operating at their absolute peak, driving her to make moves that are as brilliant as they are inherently dangerous. In her relentless pursuit of salvation, Phyllis reaches out to the one person who has consistently stood by her side through every conceivable storm. She summons Lauren Finmore to the elegant, hushed atmosphere of society, a venue where power dynamics are constantly shifting over crystal glasses and whispers secrets. When Lauren arrives, she finds a woman who is bruised but far from broken. Phyllis meticulously lays out the astonishing offer presented by Victor Newman, detailing the high-stakes exchange that could secure her freedom at the cost of her current corporate identity. The air between the two longtime friends is thick with tension, as the gravity of the situation demands absolute clarity and unwavering loyalty. Lauren, possessing a deep and painful historical understanding of Victor Newman's vindictive nature, immediately expresses profound skepticism. She views the offer not as an olive branch, but as a meticulously constructed trap designed to ensure Phyllis's ultimate destruction. Lauren knows better than anyone that Victor harbors deep, unrelenting grudges, and his sudden willingness to negotiate sets off every alarm bell in her mind. She cautions Phyllis, urging her to look beneath the surface of the deal, fearing that Victor is simply waiting for the perfect moment to spring a lethal legal snare that will end Phyllis's career permanently. However, Phyllis counters Lauren's entirely justified paranoia with a piece of leverage that she believes is an impenetrable shield. She reminds her dear friend of the harrowing night she intervened to save Nick Newman's life from a fatal fentanyl overdose. Phyllis is absolutely convinced that this singular act of heroism has fundamentally altered the power dynamic between her and the Newman patriarch. She argues that Victor, despite his cold and calculating exterior, is ultimately bound by a primal protective instinct toward his children. By saving his son from the brink of death, Phyllis believes she has purchased a unique form of immunity, a debt that even Victor Newman cannot easily ignore or violently dismiss. Riding the momentum of this profound conviction, Phyllis unveils her grand vision for the future. She passionately explains that she can take all the brilliant, innovative ideas she cultivated at Summers' conglomerate and channel them into the creation of an entirely new, unstoppable enterprise. This new venture, poised to be named Abbotts, represents a phoenix rising from the ashes of her current legal nightmare. She paints a vivid picture of a corporate renaissance, a place where all their shared professional dreams can be fully realized without the suffocating shadow of Newman Enterprises looming overhead. The sheer magnetism of Phyllis's resilience proves to be entirely irresistible to Lauren. Recognizing the undeniable spark of genius and determination in her friend's eyes, Lauren agrees to join forces once again. She commits to standing shoulder to shoulder with Phyllis in this new endeavor, fully embracing the risks for the promise of unprecedented success. The legendary Phyllis Lauren era is officially reborn, sparking an electrifying sense of anticipation for the corporate dominance they are about to unleash upon the unsuspecting business landscape of Genoa City. Armed with Lauren's unwavering support and a renewed sense of purpose, Phyllis marches directly into the lion's den. She arrives at the sprawling, intimidating grounds of the Newman Ranch for the mandatory meeting Victor had demanded. The atmosphere in the room is suffocatingly tense, a silent battleground where two of the most formidable minds in the city prepare to negotiate the terms of their mutual survival. Phyllis stands tall, projecting an aura of absolute defiance, making it abundantly clear that she is entirely unfazed by Victor's legendary intimidation tactics. Phyllis boldly informs the Newman patriarch that she does not care if his actions are driven by a petty need for revenge. She strips away the emotional pretense of their encounter, reducing their lifelong animosity to a simple, cold business transaction. Victor, maintaining his characteristic stoicism, slides the final transfer papers across the heavy mahogany desk. These documents represent the formal surrender of Newman Enterprises, the death of Summers' conglomerate, and the birth of Phyllis's freedom. It is a moment of profound historical weight, the culmination of months of bitter, destructive corporate warfare distilled into a few strokes of a pen. As the ink dries, Victor shifts the conversation from corporate assets to family dynamics, demonstrating his unyielding desire to control every facet of the lives intersecting with his own. He sternly urges Phyllis to make peace with her daughter, Summer, recognizing the deep fractures their recent alliance has caused. Furthermore, he issues a strict directive regarding Nick, demanding that Phyllis refrain from causing his son any additional stress during his fragile recovery from addiction. Phyllis, surprisingly agreeable, concurs with this sentiment, genuinely wishing to avoid exacerbating the immense pain Nick is currently enduring. The negotiation then takes a sudden, dark turn as Victor reveals a hidden layer of his overarching strategy. He informs Phyllis that he has specific, highly classified plans for the amnesiac Matt Clark, a man whose very existence threatens the psychological stability of the entire Newman family. Victor issues a chilling ultimatum, explicitly forbidding Phyllis from interfering with his machinations or revealing the dark, violent truth of Matt's past to anyone. The demand requires Phyllis to become complicit in Victor's dangerous game, forcing her to swallow her own desire to see Matt neutralized in exchange for her corporate rebirth. Understanding that her new empire hinges on her compliance, Phyllis makes a solemn promise to keep Victor's secrets. She binds herself to a strict non-disclosure agreement, sealing a pact with the devil to secure her future. Walking away from the Newman ranch, Phyllis carries the heavy burden of the silence, but she also carries the absolute power of a brand new empire. She has successfully navigated the most dangerous negotiation of her life, trading a stolen conglomerate for the legitimate, unencumbered potential of Abbott, proving once again that she is the ultimate survivor. However, Phyllis's machinations are far from over. Armed with her new corporate identity and a complex web of secrets, she attends a highly exclusive, private Newman gathering. Her eyes skim the room, bypassing the glitz and glamour to lock onto her true target, Nick Newman. He is visibly exhausted, bearing the heavy physical and emotional scars of his recent overdose and the ongoing family civil war. Phyllis approaches him with a carefully calibrated mixture of maternal concern and predatory calculation, knowing that her next move requires extreme psychological precision. Phyllis initiates the conversation by expressing deep, seemingly genuine remorse for the chaotic events surrounding the Newman Enterprises takeover. She acknowledges the pain her actions caused his family, softening his defenses before delivering her crucial reminder. With intense emotional gravity, she reminds Nick that she was the one who pulled him back from the abyss, the one who saved his life when the fentanyl nearly claimed it. It is a masterful manipulation of his gratitude, a heavy emotional anchor designed to make him highly receptive to the dangerous proposition she is about to unveil. Having established her leverage, Phyllis pivots to the true purpose of her approach. She offers to personally handle the terrifying, unpredictable threat of Matt Clark, promising to neutralize the monster who has caused Nick and Sharon so much historical agony. But this protection comes with a steep, highly specific price. In exchange for her intervention with Matt, Phyllis demands that Nick use his considerable influence within the family to completely halt Victor's ruthless legal and corporate assault against Kane Ashby. Phyllis intricately weaves her argument, suggesting that stopping the attack on Kane is intrinsically linked to Nick's own spiritual survival. She posits that if Nick allows Victor to destroy an innocent man like Kane using fabricated artificial intelligence evidence, the resulting guilt and chaos will inevitably drive Nick back down a dark, self-destructive path. She frames her extortion as an act of profound care, insisting that her intervention with Matt will spare Nick the agony of watching his abuser roam free. Provided he protects Kane from Victor's wrath, Nick is instantly plunged into a state of agonizing internal turmoil. His visceral, all-consuming hatred for Matt Clark wars violently against his loyalty to his father and his disgust for Phyllis's relentless manipulation. He is trapped in a psychological vice, forced to weigh the safety of his family against the unjust persecution of Kane Ashby. Phyllis has expertly boxed him in, utilizing his trauma, his gratitude, and his moral compass as weapons to secure her own hidden agenda, leaving Nick to grapple with an impossible, soul-crushing dilemma. Watching Phyllis Summers navigate these treacherous waters evokes a profound sense of awe mixed with deep anxiety. There is something undeniably captivating about witnessing a woman who refuses to be defeated, who can look total annihilation in the face and negotiate a path to victory. Her ability to compartmentalize her trauma, weaponize her good deeds, and manipulate the most powerful men in Genoa City speaks to a survival instinct that is as terrifying as it is magnificent. We cannot help but feel a complex urge of admiration for her sheer audacity, even as we mourn the emotional collateral damage she leaves in her wake. Her journey is a masterclass in resilience, a deeply human story of flawed brilliance that keeps us emotionally tethered to her every move. The stage is now set for a confrontation of epic proportions. Will Nick Newman succumb to the heavy weight of his gratitude and the terrifying specter of Matt Clark, or will he see through Phyllis's masterful manipulation and refuse the deal? As the shadows of corporate espionage and deeply buried traumas converge, the fragile peace of Genoa City hangs by the thinnest of threads. Stay tuned, because the fallout from these secret alliances is guaranteed to be nothing short of spectacular.